Hello, welcome to Danganronpa V3. We're just sticking with our nails in Korekiyo's figurative coffin.
What? You do realize bluffs like that won't work, yes?
The weapon that was used to knock Angie unconscious in the empty room. That weapon tells us the whole story, Kyo.
That's not possible. I think you may have misunderstood. Apologize. Come on, apologize.
Apologize. Apologize. Apologize.
Come on, apologize. Apologize, apologize. Apologize, 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 apologize.
It's too late to apologize. Apologize. A.
Seriously, what the hell's happening?
I have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong.
Yes, I'm not the culprit.
So I have nothing to confess. I have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong.
Yes, I'm not the culprit.
So I have nothing to confess. I have nothing to admit. You are... Why must you force your delusions on us?
Your logic. That's merely a delusion.
Well said, Korekiyo. To continue this debate is meaningless. Why must you force your delusions on us?
Your logic. That's merely a delusion.
Well said, Korekiyo. To continue this debate is meaningless. Why must you force your delusions on us?
I told you I am
I don't
not
think we're
the
doing any
culprit.
damage to him.
So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me.
Korekiyo speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot.
Apologize. Apologize. Apologize.
Apologize. Apologize.
I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me.
Korekiyo speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot.
Apologize. Apologize. Apologize.
Apologize.
Apologize. I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me.
Korekiyo speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot.
Apologize. Apologize. Apologize.
Apologize.
Apologize. I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all...
You have no proof that Korekiyo is the killer.
It ends here! Kyo hit Angie with the same floorboard used in the seesaw trick.
Oh, that's why the blood was on it.
I see. And how do you know the floorboard was the murder weapon?
There was a small patch of dried blood on the underside of the floorboard.
Angie's blood?
Blood that spattered there when the culprit struck Angie with the board. But that's not the only evidence that she was hit with that floorboard. There's also the bloodstain under the floor to consider. For that to be there, the floorboard must not have been in place at the time of the attack.
Good point. Had the floorboard been in place, her blood wouldn't have splattered beneath it.
Kyo's earlier confession is further evidence that the floorboard was used.
How?
If the weapon used to hit Angie is the floorboard from the seesaw trick,
It means the culprit knew about the seesaw, so the same person killed Tenko and Angie. believe that while Keel was setting up the seesaw, he was holding the board when Angie walked in.
And he cold-cocked her with the floorboard. All you can do now is accept it. You even confessed to Tenko's murder already.
Oh, it's true. This is the truth.
Looks like we're almost at the end. All right, Shuichi. I'll leave the finale to you. Bring down the house.
Shuichi, please, put an end to this. For Angie and Tenko's sake. End this class trial.
I understand. I'll go over everything one more time. Keel, I want you to confess. No, I will force you to confess.
Doing good so far.
This
That was
is
really
the
easy.
truth of the case. Let's look back at the first murder. It was late last night. The culprit was in the empty room on the 4th floor. The culprit was preparing the seance murder they had planned. To use the floorboard as a seesaw, they had to cut the crosspiece supporting it. The plan was to make the same preparations for all 3 empty rooms. This would divert suspicion away from the culprit and whoever picked a room. To cut the crosspieces, they needed a saw. I imagine they got one from the warehouse. They were planning to cut the crosspieces in all 3 rooms. However, when the culprit was working on the middle room, the unexpected happened. Angie walked into that room and saw the culprit making their preparations. She needed some fire for the ritual and had gone to the room for a candle. At that point, the culprit had not finished the setup and was just cutting crosspieces. Angie might not have concluded that it was tied to some kind of murder plan. But now that Angie had seen it, the culprit couldn't use the seesaw trick. Any other person might have just given up, but not our culprit. The culprit took the floorboard they loosened and struck the unsuspecting Angie in the head. The culprit did not want to give up on their plan and had to improvise. They wrapped duct tape around Angie's injury to stop the bleeding. Then they picked up her unconscious body and carried her to a research lab. While she was unconscious, the culprit hurried to tie up this loose end. But because they were in a hurry, they made a crucial oversight. They didn't notice the duct tape had peeled off and was under Angie's body. Without that evidence, we may never have figured out the culprit's trick. Carrying the supplies they needed, the culprit returned to the ultimate art lab. Locked the front door from inside. And took out the katana they brought from their own lab. They then stabbed Angie in the back of the neck, finally killing her. Then, to further confuse us, the culprit attempted to make a locked room mystery. First, they used rope from the warehouse and hung 4 effigies upside down. There were 2 reasons for this. To overwhelm the room with an occult atmosphere. And the other was the key to locking the room. The culprit stuck the katana into Kaede's effigy near the rear entrance. And spun the effigy around to twist up the rope. After enough turns, the culprit let go and headed for the rear door. Once released, the effigy began spinning, and the gold leaf katana with it. The handle of the katana then hit the sliding lock, locking the door. A difficult trick, but remember that the lock was so loose it moved at the slightest touch. The culprit also would have had the opportunity to attempt it many times. Once complete, the door was locked, but the duct tape was left behind. Perhaps the culprit noticed it, but by that point, it was too late. The room was sealed. There was no way for them to get back inside. Then, this morning, we opened up the room and discovered Angie's body. But the culprit wasn't finished. They wanted one more murder. To do that, they manipulated us into performing this seance. Of the 3 empty rooms, the middle one was chosen for the seance. I was invited by Kokichi to take Kibo's place in the seance. Tenko volunteered to be the medium, but she never imagined it would get her killed. To perform the seance, the culprit claimed they needed something for Tenko. A small stone that Himiko had brought from the courtyard. Tenko, at the culprit's request, bowed her head until it was touching the stone. That position was instrumental in making sure the murder went as planned. Next, Kokichi and I placed the iron cage over Tenko in the middle of the magic circle. The culprit then volunteered to drape the white cloth over the iron cage. We didn't realize it at the time, but that was a deliberate decision by the culprit. They needed to set up the murder weapon that was used to kill Tenko. While they were covering the cage with a cloth, they secretly placed the sickle. Finally, 4 of us placed the wooden statue on top of the cage. The culprit used the weight of the statue to keep the murder weapon in place. After the preparations were complete, we began the seance. In complete darkness, we each stood in one corner and sang the Caged Child song. When the song finished, the soul of the dead was supposed to enter the medium. But our culprit had another plan, to commit a murder in the darkness. Right after we started singing, the culprit began making their way toward Tenko. It would have been quite difficult to do in total darkness, but our culprit had a guide. They used the lines of the magic circle drawn with salt. The culprit felt for the salt and used it to guide them along. And when the culprit reached the center of the circle, they found the floorboard that had its crosspiece cut off the night before. Then lifted up their foot and stomped down hard on the floorboard. The floorboard lifted up like a seesaw and pushed Tenko's body up toward the ceiling of the cage. Tenko was stabbed in the back of the neck by the sickle on the top of the cage. She was killed right before our eyes, and we didn't even see it. After committing the crime, the culprit followed the Salt back to their corner. Finished the ritual and had us light the candles. We followed the culprit's directions and removed the equipment used for the seance. And discovered Tenko's body. And while we were all focused on the body, the culprit picked up the sickle and dropped it under the floor through the hole in the corner of the room. Ironically, the final step of the murder was unwittingly carried out by us. The culprit had planned the murder so that we would unintentionally destroy some evidence. That evidence was the magic circle that the culprit used to navigate in the dark. However, the culprit didn't know that Kibo had taken a picture. He really saved us. Without that, we wouldn't know what changes were made to the circle. But now we know for certain, and we know the culprit drew the magic circle. Korekiyo Shinguchi, the ultimate anthropologist. You're the culprit behind these murders. That's where my detective work leads us. It all fits.
Sweet Korekiyo, there are times when it's necessary to admit defeat. Admit? Yeah. Okay.
So you finally admit you did it.
Unfortunately, yes. Yes. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. My one regret, my only regret, was not being able to make 100 friends.
Wait, what?
100 friends?
It was my dream to make 100 friends. Oh, it's so unfortunate! I was so close to 100! What are you talking about? I do not understand a word of this.
Who gives a fuck? Let's vote for this kooky bastard and be done with this already!
Roger that! One voting time! Coming up!
The heart racing excitement as...
The heart racing excitement!
As a blackened and a spotless finally face off!
It's voting time!
See, I always want to vote for the wrong person and see what happens, but I don't want to risk it.
Now then, it seems the voting has finished. Let's see the result.
Korekiyo voted for himself.
Who'll be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice, or the dreadfully wrong one?
For now.
No.
Right!
Oh?
Hey!
Hey, hey!
Shut up!
Don't do the other Kokichi.
What?
Yeah?
Yes. There is someone that I love. I love her with all my heart, and she loves me with all her heart. Yes, we vowed an endless love to each other, forever bound by fate. None can come between us. We are bound by an intense love, no matter what anyone says.
What? Don't tell me.
Wonderful.
Wait!
Yeah.
Curse Sploosh!
Hey!
Hey,
You see. Sister.
Let's go to a weird place. Weirder place.
Huh?
Wait!
Right?
Wait!
Whatever is the matter? I loved her so deeply, and she loved me so deeply. The fact that we were siblings meant nothing to us. They called it forbidden love, but none could stop the love we shared. Oh, how I long for my sister's warmth. The only time I felt at peace was when I was enveloped in my sister's warmth.
Oh, dude. Dude. Do this, dude.
For my beloved sister.
Always messing around.
No. Huh? Sister. However... Huh? Do you understand? For my beloved sister!
Well, at least we know what you're in here for.
In
incomprehensible. Sister.
Yes.
What?
I am Korekiyo's older sister.
What?
Yes. I am pleased. Sister.
Korekiyo.
Are you serious?
I told you. Ew.
Well,
What was that?
Because... Unacceptable. Huh? Wonderful.
Yeah? Why, you... Then...
Excellent. Wonderful.
Huh?
But... can this be? Beautiful. Well.
No way!
Well, now... Let's see. For my beloved sister! Are you okay? However...
What is that?
Korekiyo.
Oh dear.
How many people did you kill? Like, are we talking late 90s or?
Why? But how?
Do not worry.
That's right.
Sister.
What was that?
Well... And another thing.
Maybe.
Shut up! You got me!
So then... Sister... Sister...
Korekiyo.
Oh. It's punishment time!
Huh? Sister...
That's right.
What?
Therefore, from an anthropological point of view, yes,
What was that?
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
I shall observe.
That's right.
Humanity is beautiful.
It's punishment time!
Gory!
That was unexpected.
How can this be? Yay!
That's right!
Hey,
Eh?
well now. Wah, 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 wah.
You?
I told you. What's the point?
Eh?
Oh, yeah. So long. Farewell.
Always messing around. Of course!
But...
You're right. Goten do his best. You're right.
Okay. That's right. Got a minute?
Oh.
Actually,
But... well, you know... Shit.
How rude! But you know... I believe in you.
Okay. Well, of course! Hey, hey!
How exciting!
No way!
You all right?
Hey! Okay.
Oh.
You're so dumb.
Huh?
Because I'm a liar. But...
right?
nuh-uh. Because... hey!
Damn it.
Is she hard to carry, Gonta?
No, she fine.
She's sleeping very peacefully.
She's all tuckered out after crying. Robots sleep well after leaking their oils too, right?
I have told you many times that I do not use oil as my fuel source.
But wow, that really surprised me. She passed out as soon as she stopped crying.
Yeah, but she looks so peaceful sleeping like that.
She probably felt better after letting it all out, don't you think?
Yeah, I hope so.
Then Gonta carry Himiko to her room.
Make sure you focus real good on your back, you hear me? You'll need that focus if you want to feel her little mosquito bites poking ya! There's no way he'd do such a thing. Gonta is a gentleman after all.
Huh?
Well,
Huh.
But...
Got it.
okay.
Huh.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh god, you have some kind of wasting disease, don't you? You do. You have pale complexion disease.
I don't have time to be dying. I still haven't gone into space yet. Damn it. No way am I gonna die here. No way.
Okay, we will leave it there, and we're going to take a short hiatus on this Let's Play, and then return in a couple of weeks to do Chapter 4. So I will see you then.